Hey, what's going on? We're doing things a little bit different schedule this time because you notice the sun directly on me as opposed to having shade from the sun setting. Doing this before nap time. We'll see how this goes. Got the older kid, she's actually got some rollerblades going back and forth on the sidewalk. We've got the 9-year-old boy and the 4-year-old girl upstairs playing nicely together. So I'm throwing chance to the wind. Gonna do this Facebook Live real quick to talk about triathlon clothes versus bike clothes because I'm sure you're all dying to know the difference and what I think about them. But so we're doing this, and we're gonna tempt fate and see if we can get through this without a kid interrupting the broadcast. We'll see. We'll see how things go. So let's just jump into it. So just real quick, I just want to kind of describe the difference between tri clothes and cycling clothes. A lot of people, when they get into doing triathlons, usually end up using like bike shorts and a bike jersey, which isn't the end of the world. But once you start getting longer events, it becomes more advantageous to use triathlon specific clothing. So I'm going to go through the difference between both. So this right here, what I'm going to start showing you is biking specific clothing. So these are biking specific shorts. So if you can see those. So the big main difference is you can see this pad is huge. It's not very flexible and it is pretty thick. So this is meant for you to take your butt and sit it on your bike for long extended periods of time. So for an Ironman or a 70.3 race, it could be pretty comfortable over time. But it fits a little bit differently. It's got, you could get bib shorts too for cycling. The waistbands are usually, there's a little bit more of a waistband to it, so it's not as comfortable for me personally. So those are the shorts, and then for cycling, there's a nice jersey. This is a full zip one. It's pretty snug, but it's going to be a little bit looser. It's not as flexible a fabric. It's a little bit flexible, but usually you will have larger pockets for the cycling jerseys. So that's something to maybe take into consideration. But this is cycling specific, and it's a pretty good, firm, snug fit, but it's still going to be a little bit loose, so you lose a little bit of aerodynamics. So then we'll jump into the tri-specific. So this is tri-suits, and usually I'm doing tri-suits by now. You could get tri-shorts and tri-tops separately if you want. I've got plenty of those. I use them for my workouts and stuff too. I rarely don't use them for races because I'm usually on like Team Zoot the past 2 years. So we have our team tri-kit, so this is what I have. So if you notice, and this is going to be pretty standard for most triathlon kits, is the pad. It's not very noticeable. It's there, so when you feel it, there's a little bit of padding, but it's not as much because you'll be able to run a lot easier in this. Running in a pair of bike shorts is going to be very uncomfortable. Like I'll wear these sometimes for my week of workouts, and sometimes I'll do a break real quick on the treadmill after a ride in the basement or just down the road, and it's very uncomfortable running these things. It just feels like you're running in a diaper. It's just not very comfortable. But in tri apparel, you go out for a run, and that's why the pad is thinner, is you can just jump off the bike and you start running. It really does not cause problems. I did one full Ironman in this last year. I did 2 halves, I believe, maybe just 1 half. I don't know. It's, at this point in time, it's just been a long year, and every day just kind of blurs into the next. I can't remember how many races I did last year because it's been a while since I've done a race. But so I did a couple on these, and it's worked for every single distance I've done. I did a sprint to a full Ironman last year in this triathlon suit. So, and you also notice the suit on the top, it's a lot more elasticy, if that's a word. So it's going to be more form-fitting, so that it's not going to be loose on you at all. And usually tri-suits are a little bit more moisture-wicking, so the fabrics and everything, if you're like Chattanooga last year, it was extremely hot. It was almost 100 degrees with heat index. So I was dousing myself in water constantly all the time. And what's nice is this lets it evaporate. Even though it was black, it wasn't really hot. It was nice. You pour water in there, especially on the ride too. You pour water down your back and evaporate it off and cooled you off pretty efficiently. Biking apparel, they're made better these days, and they're made with fabrics that can help you out with that, but they're not really meant to be ran in. So when you're really overheating, they're not going to dissipate heat as well as a triathlon specific shirt or top. So like I said, I've kind of gone into a few different differences between cycling specific and triathlon specific clothing. So, like I said, the main thing is going to be the pad thickness. When you're running in tri gear, or you're running like in biking gear, it's going to be very uncomfortable to run in bike specific shorts. It's just, yeah, it's like running in a diaper, and especially if it's hot and you've been covering yourself in water, it's like running in a wet diaper and you're going to get chafing, and it's not going to be very comfortable. But it could potentially help you if you get uncomfortable on the bike, long sitting period of time, or full, or 70.3. 70.3 is a little different because once you go with these, you're going to have to stick with them for the race because you can't get naked in transition because you're open to everybody. If you're doing a 140.6, you have a changing tent, so you could change out of your cycling gear into maybe run shorts and run top or something like that. So it is possible. But personally, I use a tri-suit, like I said, for the entire race, or tri-clothing. I've done it in separate tri-tops and tri-shorts. I've used it for the entire event for 140.6. I've used tri-suits for the past 2 or 3 years for 3 or 4 Ironman distances by now. So wearing it for, from 14 to 11.5 hours is not a big deal. It's pretty comfortable. As long as you lubricate thoroughly, you don't really chafe or anything. Like I said, I do most of my training and my tri stuff anyway, because that way if you're on the bike for extended periods of time, you don't have to worry about getting used to the pad on race day. So if you train in bike clothing and you do your long rides in bike clothing and then do the race on triathlon clothing, when you get done with a 112-mile bike ride or 56-mile bike ride, it might be pretty uncomfortable if you do not train with a thinner pad. So that's going to be one of the key differences between the bike and the tri gear. The other one is aerodynamics. This is going to be a lot looser, not looser like I put on my graphic. Somebody caught me on that one. It's looser on the body, so it will be a little bit more, it'll catch a little bit more wind, so the bike, you might have a little bit more resistance. Over the grand scheme of things, it may not be that big of a deal, but, if you're trying to squeeze a little bit of, trying to do less work over a 112-mile bike ride, it might behoove you to have a little bit tighter fitting outfit. The other part is, if you're doing a swim and you've got a cycling jersey, when you're wet and trying to put this thing on, it is very, I can't tell you how many fights I've had in the past before I finally just made the switch over to tri gear and just wearing it in the swim. Like if you wore this in the swim and you don't have like a speed suit or wetsuit over it, it's going to catch water like nobody's business and it's going to be a pain in the ass to swim in. So if you swim just in like tri shorts, which I wouldn't recommend either, or bike shorts, you're swimming with this pad up your rear end for 1,000 meters, 1,500 meters, 1.2 miles, 2.4 miles, whatever you're doing, that's not going to be very comfortable either. But then trying to wrestle this thing on when you're wet is a huge pain in the ass. So that's what also kind of prompted me to get away from it. So I wear, like I said, I wear this start to finish. I do the swim, do the bike, do the run, and then I hang out and post-race food. I'm still in this, and I'm not in a huge hurry to get out. It's comfortable, especially Zoot. I'm part of their team for 2020. I was 2019, so obviously I'm a pimp the gear. But the suit that I have for 2020 is the ultra suit that zips in the front and opens up, so you can use the restroom for you guys out there. It's very convenient now, so there's really no reason if you're doing triathlons, you're doing longer distances, to switch over to tri gear. They're super comfortable. It's really not a problem. But if you're just going out for a ride with your friends and you want to wear bike shorts and jersey, there's no one that says you can't. But I would highly recommend, if you're, like I said, if you're getting into triathlons and you think you're going to be doing it long term, invest in triathlon specific clothing, especially the shorts, the jersey, and get something that you're comfortable in wearing from the start to the finish of the race. So if you're not comfortable in it, doing the training, you're not going to be comfortable on race day. If you're not comfortable on race day, it's just going to suck. So make sure, Michael, and Daniel, who are watching it so far, make sure that you're comfortable from start to finish. At this point in time, I know, Michael Pinto, you've been doing this long enough now that I'm sure you know the difference between good, comfortable clothing and looks nice there, buddy, don't lie. You slept in it. No, I don't sleep in it. That's uncomfortable. It is comfortable enough I would sleep in it, but I don't sleep in my tri clothing. My wife won't even let me shave my leg hair, so we keep the triathlon stuff to a minimum. And when she's at work and I'm doing live videos, then that's my time to geek out about triathlon stuff. So no, I don't sleep in tri gear. It's comfortable enough. I actually like the Zoot Ultra Suit. I'm going to go order a regular one, hopefully later, because it's super comfortable. This one is probably a size too small. And it doesn't, once you zip it up in front, I mean, there's really no way to do anything. I mean, you could kind of stretch it and try to go to the bathroom if you're a guy, but it's really not comfortable. But the Ultra Suit zips all the way in the front, opens up, and it's kind of like bib shorts, and you can go to the restroom if you're a guy. So it's really comfortable. But like I said, I would highly recommend, even when you get to the Olympic distance, seriously look into Tri-Gear. And like I said, something that's comfortable top and bottom, because you don't want to be wrestling with the top when you come out of the water. Just because if you're wet and it's form-fitting, it's going to be a pain in the ass to try to get over your head, and you got to ask somebody for help, and it's just a big mess. So definitely, and especially if you're going to be doing longer distances, you need to have, I would make sure you have enough to do training and racing in, because if you have one tri-suit and you're going to train for a full Ironman, you're going to race in it, you might wear it out before the race gets there. So just be sure that you're planning ahead on that. But so that's the key differences between bike apparel and triathlon apparel. The big one, like I said, is the pad. And the second biggest is being comfortable. As I drop this all over, it's awfully windy here, but hey, at least it's not, it was a storming here yesterday. It was pretty windy. So but we made it through the video. My kids are still, I think, playing. I haven't heard anybody crashing the walls above me. My 12-year-old is still riding her rollerblades on the sidewalk, hasn't wiped out or wiped anybody else out. So I call this a success for Facebook Live. I also want to put out there, this is a paper prototype of a face mask that I'm doing. Go to setthepacetriathlon.com, go to the store or shop button, and there's a link to it. I'm doing a pre-order. Right now the way they are, I don't have enough capital to order it up front, so you need to do a pre-order. So if you're interested, I need about 5 or 6 more orders of these face masks. You can order up to 5 at a time, and just $5 for shipping. And then once I get that order in, hopefully at the end of May, we can get them printed, get them out to you guys. So I know, like, airlines, I think, are requiring, whether you agree with it or not, airlines are requiring it, Costco's requiring it. I'm not saying one way or the other, but I'm just offering. It's kind of a nice, cool thing that Boco's doing. Their designer face masks, so you can just wear them on and you can be cool and you can support Set the Pace Triathlon, especially if you find this content appealing, or if you think I'm just a cool dude. Oh wait, Michael, especially now with the world WTC saying no changing tents for the foreseeable future, good tri-suit. There you go. Kevin Ryan is awesome, full of information. I'm full of something, that's for sure. But hey, that's a good point. So WTC saying no changing tents for the foreseeable future. Woo! That could make a huge difference. If there's no changing tents, you cannot get naked and get jiggy with it out in the open. I mean, you could wear probably like an Under Armour shorts, and then get away with maybe changing shorts, as long as you got something on underneath it. You ladies, sports bras underneath it. So it might be a little questionable, and you might get some odd looks, but as long as you're not fully nude in transition, or you don't have to cover up with a towel to do your change, it's possible. But yeah, if there's no changing tents, then I'd highly look at tri-suits. At least, a two-piece if you don't like the tri-suit, but I mean, they've come a long way. Like I said, this is the limited Aero Assault, I think, from last year from Zoot. Like I said, the Zoot Ultra has by far been the most comfortable suit I've used yet in my 16 years of triathlon racing. So that's good to know, Mike. I'll have to look that up for sure, because I know if it's on Facebook, it must be true, right? But I always like to go back and check the facts. But anyway, so I'll take your word for it right now that if you can't use changing tents, and if they're not going to be using them for the World Triathlon Corporation in their events and their full Ironman, you might be looking at tri-suits anyway. So now's the time to load up, with trainers and workout gear. That went out in a hurry, and once this gets out, triathlon suits could go out in a hurry too. So make sure you got your eyes peeled for that. Like I said, I'm going to leave you this last little bit. Oh, wait. Raymond, nothing worse than cramping trying to get your kid off in the porta john, and yes, no more tents. Break out your 5-gallon transition buckets. Hey. Yeah, no 5-gallon transition buckets. No. Raymond, I know you do it just to be silly, but no. But yeah, if you wear a tri-suit the whole time, there's no struggle bus. There's no changing, there's no worrying about it. But there is access if you want to lubricate the sensitive areas. You might be thinking forward on that one. That's why I like the, hold my camera up, it's getting windy. that's why it might be important to have something with access. And like I said, maybe I'll post a link up there. But the Zoot Ultra Suit zips down the front for guys and gals, and it's a little bit low, like bib shorts for cycling. And if you need to, you can go to the restroom if you're a guy. And for girls, you can, any guys and girls, you can lubricate sensitive areas if you need to in transition or something like that. So that's something to keep in mind too. But like the last part, I want to leave you with. I know I've blabbered on probably longer than I wanted, and I'm tempting fate with the kids playing well and kids out rollerblading. She's getting kind of tired. We're gonna have to do lunch here in a little bit. Did this before nap time. It went pretty good. So the last part is, think about if you're needing a mask for any reason, whether you agree with the mask orders or not. But if you're gonna have to use one, Foco Gear, I'm doing a mask. This is a prototype I made out of paper. SetThePaceTriathlon.com. Go to the shop. Go hit the pre-order. It's a PayPal link. Just do the pre-order. I need 5 or 6 more so I can have the upfront capital to make the order, because times are tough right now and I don't have the cash sitting around. So as soon as we get to those, the sooner the better. I'm going to shut it off May 25th. If we don't get there, I'm refunding everybody their money. But I'd love to print these up. My wife wants a couple. She works at a hospital to take with her. So support stptri.com, setthepacetriathlon.com. Get out there. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. I will address them all. If you got any feedback, you think I'm full of crap, put that in there too. I'd love to talk to you some more about that and your thoughts. So happy, what is this, 2 wins the third Friday, the 56th. Have a good one, and hopefully your pool's opening soon. We'll talk to you later.